Okay. So that everybody is aware, we are just waiting a minute for our chairman, Mark Grumblatt, but we are recording and live streaming right now. So
Do you have a number for him, Sue? Can you call
I
him?
just shot him an email. I talked to him not 15, 20 minutes ago. So I know he was intending to join the meeting. I shot him a quick email. There he is. Okay. Hi, Mark. You're muted, Mark. Uh-oh, where'd he go? Mark, you're muted.
All right.
Okay. Mark, I've started the recording and the live stream. So if you're ready, I'll get going. We have all the members here tonight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay. So thank you, everybody, for joining the special meeting of the City of Kingston's Historic Landmark Preservation Commission. Today is Thursday, September 16th, 2021. My name is Suzanne Cahill, the planning director and organizer for our virtual meeting. Before we begin our meeting, we would like to go over a few meeting guidelines to help navigate the system as efficiently and respectfully as possible. We ask that members of the public and the press remain muted and off camera for the length of the meeting. As the organizer, I reserve the right to mute anyone who unmutes themselves. Commission members and city staff will control their own mute button. Good practice would be to mute yourself if you are not speaking to avoid background noise and feedback. If a commissioner or staff wishes to speak, they will raise their hand. As the organizer, I will call on them before they speak, or the commission chairman will call on them by stating their name clearly for our audio listeners and transcript recording. All of our meetings are recorded. Both video and written transcriptions will be made available to the public on the city website at a later date. Also note that this meeting is being live streamed on the city's YouTube channel. In lieu of public speaking during the monthly meeting, we had requested all comment to be received by 2 p.m. on Tuesday, September 14th, 2021. Comment could have been emailed, hand-delivered, placed in regular mail, or in the drop box at City Hall. There were no comments received. All meeting materials, applications, supporting documentation may be found, on the city's website by going to the city's homepage, www.kingston-ny.gov. Scroll down to the bottom under the meetings calendar where you see the special meeting posted. Please click on the appropriate link for the agenda or meeting materials to see all the information available. If at any time you have an audio issue, please send a text message to the following number, 845-443-0416. I will repeat that number again, but be aware that phone calls will not be answered during the meeting. The number again to text is 443-0416. As the organizer for today's meeting, I reserve the right to lock and pause the meeting to eject anyone who has behaved inappropriately or to enter into attorney-client conference if needed. On behalf of the commission, I wish to thank everyone for your continued patience during this unique time and wish you and your family good health. I will now call the meeting to order at 6:37 p.m. and I will turn the floor over to Chairman Mark Grumblatt to introduce the HLPC members and manage the meeting. Mark, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Suzanne. All right. My name is Mark Grunblatt. I chair Historic Landmark Preservation Commission. I'll ask each member to unmute and introduce themselves. Hayes, will you go first?
Hayes Clement, I'm a commission member and present.
I'm Kevin McAvoy. I'm commissioner.
Andrea Pute, commissioner and the architect of HLPC.
Robert Tonner, commissioner.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So to briefly review, since we're back online, we're going to always have to call for verbal votes. And I will call the roll when that time comes. So Sue, are we starting with review of last month's minutes?
Yes, August 5th minutes.
Right. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from last month? Brief as they were. All right. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes as submitted? Thank you, Hayes. Do I hear a second? Thank you, Robert. I will call the roll. Hayes.
Aye.
Andrea.
Aye.
Kevin.
Aye.
Robert.
Aye.
And I also vote in the affirmative. Okay, Sue, who's up first?
So the first item that we are looking at is the rear Clinton Avenue. And I believe Tyson from Timely Signs is with us this evening.
I'm here. Hello, everybody.
Evening, Tyson. Why don't you tell us about the proposal?
Sure. The owners of Kingston Plaza have an existing sign at that intersection. Oh, there it is. And if you go to the second page of that document, you'll actually see a rendered photo of the area we're talking about. Other way. Should be just below that there. Keep going up. Oh, that's the last page. Now, I can show it here, actually.
Okay.
That's with the rendered sign that's on. There's already a sign that's on there. It's non-lit. So they want to replace the two faces that are on there that are unlit with a lit sign. This is called a push-through face, which is back to that page that you saw a minute ago. And the example is in this corner right here, where just the actual letters light up and the background does not. So they actually used to have a lit sign there many years ago. So if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to let me know.
Right. Any commissioner have questions for Tyson on the design?
The design actually matches what's there existing right now.
So the only change will be this relatively, the outline of the letters to be lit.
That is correct.
Okay,
It is not direct light.
Okay, are there hours set on that? How does that work?
No, oh yes, I'm sorry. There'll be a light sensor on it so that it only turns on at night and turns off during the day.
Okay.
A photo cell.
My first comment is generally in the historic district, we have worked to reduce the number of illuminated signs. This seems to have been designed specifically to keep illumination to a minimum. It's also directing people out from the historic district, and in that sense may be useful in reducing people circling through trying to get back to the plaza, which I have seen happen a few times. Any other comments from the commissioners? All right. Then I propose that the board find that proposed signage for the rear of Clinton Avenue at the entrance to Westbrook Lane in the Stockade Historic District by applicant Timely Signs of Kingston and owner Herzog Supply Company, Inc. If
Mark?
done according.
Mark,
Yes.
Seeker, please.
Thank you for the reminder. All right.
Thank you.
I will entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Hayes, you're quick on the draw. I'll take that as a motion.
Second.
Kevin will take a second on that. I will call the roll. Hayes,
Aye.
Andrea,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
Robert.
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Okay. Returning to the motion on the floor. I will move that the commissioners find as fact that the proposed signage for rear Clinton Avenue at the entrance to Westbrook Lane in the Stockade Historic District by applicant Timely Signs of Kingston and owner Herzog Supply Company, Inc., if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedure stipulated in section 405-64 of the Cities of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons: that the proposal will involve the installation of a new double-sided sign in an internally illuminated sign cabinet painted black and measuring 48 inches tall and 96 inches wide. The sign material will consist of aluminum laminate faces and push through translucent acrylic logo with vinyl graphics depicting the wording Kingston Plaza. This work will cause a material change to the external appearance of the property. That said signage will not detract from the character of the historic district. That any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to work being carried out, and that our approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the Kingston Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I propose that on this 16th day of September 2021, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I hear a second?
Hayes,
Second.
second.
I'll give that to Robert. I will call the roll. Hayes,
Aye.
Andrea,
Aye.
Kevin. You're going to have to unmute for this.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Robert,
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Thank you kindly, Tyson.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Tyson.
And next on the agenda,
Is 318 Wall Street,
okay,
and Chad is with us. Chad Smith.
right, yes, now I see it. Good evening. Why don't you explain to the commission what your proposal entails?
Just want to put up a sign in front of the building to let folks know that I'm here. Thank you, Tyson. That must be Tyson showing this, or no, I guess it's you guys.
Yes.
Kyla.
Yeah, so you can kind of see what that's a mock-up of what it would look like. It's not going to be lit or anything.
Good.
Yeah, there used to be a sign there for another business that was here in the building, but they moved out. So, there's an opening underneath the awning there. So there's already hardware and stuff. So I was gonna, just use the hardware that's already there and just have the guys at Timely Sign just drill the holes. So it's just really easy to install it and just, bolt it up where the old one was. The previous.
All right. And it's just the one sign that's parallel to this face of the building.
Correct.
Okay. And are you aware of the requirement for hanging signs
Yes.
and insurance? Okay, good.
Mark, we've confirmed the dimensions and the clearance, and he's fine.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sue. Any other questions or comments? Yes, Robert.
Quick question, Chad, what's the background color of that sign?
It's going to be gray.
It's gray. Okay. I couldn't tell with my computer. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Actually, I had a question. I'm wondering if it can be printed on both sides, or does it have to be just on the one side that faces the street?
It can be printed on both sides.
Okay,
Absolutely.
great.
All right, any other questions? All right, I will entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under seeker.
Andrea Pugh.
Thank you, Andrea. Hayes, you want a second? All right, I will call the roll. Hayes,
Aye.
Andrea,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
Robert.
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. And now I will move that the commission find as fact that the proposed signs for 318 Wall Street in the Stockade Historic District by applicant Carol Amper and owner 318 Wall Street, Kingston LLC, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the structure in the district for the following reasons: that the proposal will involve installation of a 19.5-inch wide and 22-inch high and 3/4-inch thick single-sided PVC panel to be hung from the pike plan canopy using existing hardware. The sign will read Massive Clouds Film Video Post-Production with a red and blue cloud logo and the web address. That this work will cause a material change to the external appearance of the property. That said signage will not detract from the character of the historic district or the building. That any changes or additions to the plans and or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to such work being carried out. That this commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on this 16th day of September, yep, I'll remember to do that on all the rest too. The commission should grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion, and that the applicant obtain and submit insurance naming the city as an additional insured with respect to the overhang as required by section 358-9, projections and obstructions in the city's code. Do I have a second?
Second?
Thank you. Thank you, Robert.
Yeah, Robert. Okay, you got it.
You're all fast on the draw tonight. Okay. Having been moved and seconded, I will call the roll. Hayes,
Aye.
Andrea,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
Robert.
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Thank you, Chad.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good night. And next up,
Next is 12 Stuyvesant Street.
okay. And who? Aye.
I don't believe she is online. I believe she said on the 2nd before she left the meeting that she might not be available this evening. So we can carry her over to the October meeting. But
All right.
before we do that, let's just move on, take care of the other business and come back just in case she does pop on.
All right. I will set that aside. Who's up next?
Next would be 85, 87, and 89 West Union Street.
All right. Who is here to discuss this?
I'm Colin Bryce with Mapos Architects.
Hi there.
Sam Howard with Mapos Architects as well.
Good evening, gentlemen. Please tell us a little bit about your plan and what you are proposing.
Yeah, so this is a new single-family residential building. It's a single dwelling with an attached garage / art studio to the side of it. The area of the house is on West Union Street. Oh, the square footage of the house is roughly 2,000 square feet.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah, this is the building here. So you can see the proposed dwelling to the right and the proposed garage to the left, which is attached. This project has been designed, if you scroll down, a couple of pages here, you can see the existing land that we're proposing.
Empty lot, yeah, it's currently an empty lot.
Empty lot. There is a setback to the side, which you can see indicated by a blue line on the plan, which is an old easement on the property. And then if you scroll down one page further, you can see we did a little study of the existing streetscape in order to come up with a language that fits in with the existing streetscape as much as possible.
Basically materials and proportions of windows, proportion of glazing to solid wall, and those main design points.
Right.
These are the plans of the house. You can see the single dwelling on the right.
Very simple home with the ground floor, open living dining, kitchen with a bathroom and mechanical room behind. And then the second floor is an open mezzanine sleeping loft.
And these are the elevations of the house. You can see we're borrowing from the language of the double hung, vertically proportioned windows on the main house, and a simple garage door opening into the garage on the left. Again, side elevations. And I think the rest of the drawings are simply sections where you can see the mezzanine over the top of the house.
Any questions from commission members? Hayes?
No, not a question, but the Heritage Area Commission approved this September 2nd, and I feel like all the members felt very positively about it, particularly the sensitivity to, neighboring window dimensions and just the neighborhood in general.
A good visual fit was the all right. Any other questions, comments from commission members?
Just one comment, Mark, Kyla has up on the screen after we talked just a little earlier this evening. We added this to the website. This did come in. So you see here the colors and the materials specified.
All right.
Yeah.
Any comments on those? Hayes, had you had a chance to see those before with the Heritage Area Commission? Okay. All right. First order of business is I'll entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act.
So moved. Hayes. Clement.
Thank you, Hayes. Do I have a second?
Robert,
Robert, thank you. All right, I'll call the roll. Hayes,
Aye.
Andrea,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
Robert.
aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. And I hereby move that the commissioners find as fact that the proposed construction of a single-family home in the Rondout Historic District by applicant Mappos Architecture and owner Michael Piazza. If done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. The proposal will be to construct a single-family house in the RT district. The structure will be 1 story with an interior mezzanine level. Renderings show a flat elevation perpendicular to the street with vertical double-hung windows and a small stoop with front door. The house is noted as being sided with horizontal wood siding with metal trim at the roof. The residence will have a salt box style roof. And Kyla, if you could put up the specifics on colors and roofing materials, I'll incorporate that into the motion.
Mike or Mark, it might be easy just to recognize the sheet number as A-022 entitled Material Palette and the date on that we have. Let's see.
I have to blow that up to tell.
Yeah, 8/24/21.
All right, then let's incorporate that by reference. Roof materials and colors as noted in the submission. That this work will cause a material change to the external appearance of the property, that the exterior will not detract from the character of the historic district, that any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to the work being carried out, that this commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on these findings of fact, I move that on this 16th day of September, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I have a second?
Andrea Pugh, second.
Thank you, Andrea. I'll call the roll. Hayes?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Thank you, gentlemen. Good evening. All right, Sue, next, Fair Street or Crown,
Fair Street, 288 Fair.
right?
Mhm.
And who's here to address that?
There we go. Andrew Wright.
Hi, guys. There
Hi.
we go.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm cooking dinner, so it's so at last meeting we were presented, but there was not a quorum on the vote. This is the old Ecotera restaurant, and we were submitting for windows and color of the exterior. The project is basically we're putting casement windows with a mullion in the middle to look like a double hung because of the legal concern of egress. They are bedrooms upstairs. The color was a dark tone, which is a blue. Yes, and we are basically putting all of our mechanical equipment on the upper roof, which is now on the lower back roof for the restaurant, which could be visible from John Street, but not from Fair. That's basically the premise. Any questions? There you go. Yeah, most of the roof, and these are the windows that we're talking about. Look at the bow on that roof. But so we are restructuring the building as we speak. Foundations are going in, but this is basically, there you go. The windows are going to be casement full size to emulate a double hung. The band will be put in. And if you go further, then we're going with the Benjamin Moore Essex green on the trim, and then of course the black forest green for the main body of the building to hold the corner, what we think, and then there's a roof that'll match, keeping it dark. There you go.
All right,
think-
is there a change in size on that roof?
No, that roof has been there since somewhere in the mid 1800s.
Right.
I think literally, Mark, that roof is still all hand-hewn beams, dovetailed together. It is. This whole building is a lesson in history. It starts around 1830s, goes through the Civil War, goes through both World Wars. I mean, I open a wall and I see history, but it's kind of extraordinary. But we want it to fit well on the corner. We think it will, especially against Jean-Jacques La Rouge or whatever. So it should work out pretty good.
All right. Any questions from commissioners for Mr. Wright? Okay. And how old's the basement? Do you know?
Oh yeah, the basement. Well, part of it is hand stacked stone. Some of it is extremely thick. The gable you see was the original house. It didn't come all the way to Fair or John. That was added somewhere in the early 1900s when it became a store. And then the building between the gable and Jean-Jacques was added. I can only guess, all the dimension lumber is handmade. They're true 2x4s. You can see the chipaways and in mill saws. So it was a different lot, and it had a ramp up entrance, which we still have the foundation of. I mean, this, if anyone would like a tour of history, please come. I can walk you through why we have all the framing exposed. You know, you see rim boards in construction today. Well, these were hand-hewn beams with dovetail joists put into them, neatly cut. So we're going to keep as much as we can of that. But you know, it has settled, swayed. There's 7 floors in the old kitchen of Echo Terrace. 7. It is 4 inches thick. So we're trying to take them up just to take the dead load off, because our client is putting in a open flame grill of wood to cook product, as he calls it, meats, which is what they do at Sylvia's. Look at this, and that cast iron is still there. It's amazing, the headers that go across. Thank you, Kayla. And it's an extraordinary building. But we're going to make it back into a little unique restaurant for this couple, and they're going to live above. And it's been there a long time, holding that corner. So you're going to really enjoy it. And so, you know, in Sylvia's, we have an open flame, the air conditioning, the makeup air has all been figured out, all kept behind that gable. You will not see it from Fair, which is very important.
All right. Again, any questions? Any other questions come up? All right, then. I will entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under seeker. Thank you, Hayes. Do I have a second? Thank you, Robert. All right, I will call the roll. Hayes.
Aye.
Andrea.
Aye.
Kevin.
Aye.
Robert.
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Okay. I also move that the commission find that the proposed installation of rooftop equipment, replacement of windows, and exterior painting at 288 Fair Street in the Stockade Historic District by applicants and owners Hope Troop and Charles Matthews, if it done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the structure and the district for the following reasons. The original structure is believed to be a mid-19th century Italianate wooden house that was remodeled to include a storefront. The proposed work will involve exterior painting in Benjamin Moore Essex green per trim, corbels, sills, and brick molding, and black forest green for wood panels and brick. A new roof with shingles at the gable being Certainty landmark shingles in thunderstorm gray, and an EPDM for the flat roof. The work will also include replacement of the makeup air unit, installation of compressors and exhaust fans on the main roof, and new casement windows to meet egress requirements with a simulated rail to emulate double hung style, manufactured by Marvin. That this work will cause a material change in the external appearance of the property, that said modifications will not detract from the character of the historic district or of the building, that any changes or additions to the plans and or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to such additional work being carried out, that this commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on this 16th day of September 2021, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion, and that the applicant obtain and submit insurance. I didn't notice an overhang. So is that no, then I will,
Yeah. I thought,
going to delete that portion from what's been written and subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion, ending at that point. So if you would make that edit in the written version, please, Sue.
yep,
All right, do I have a second? Thank you, Hayes. I will call the roll. Hayes,
Aye.
Andrea,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
Robert.
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Thank you, Andrew, and I may take you up on the tour.
And thank you all for the time you put in. It's very valuable.
Yeah, Andrew, you may see me too. I'd like to check that out. Yeah.
Right down the street.
Okay. Later.
All right, that brings us to 7375 Crown Street.
yes, it does.
I believe a family has been waiting patiently on this one.
There's a couple people.
Hi. All right, if you would please describe your proposal.
So we are hoping to have O Positive do a mural on the rear of our building this year. It is the building that Birch Body Care is in. There's 3 residential rentals upstairs, and the rear of the building, which is the face that we were going to do the mural on. Yeah, there it is faces the municipal parking lot.
Okay, so you have a lot of windows to work around.
True, yeah. The artist, whose name, yeah, that's an example of his work. He does gorgeous work. I think it would be a really gorgeous addition to Uptown, and certainly increase some of the visual appeal of said municipal parking lot. And also our building, which is, I think, just by accident in the historic district. It's not of historic significance in really any way.
Well, not everything can be that old, I'll just say.
Yes, or beautiful, but it's yeah. So we would be happy to.
And what will happen with the present sign?
The present sign that's there will come down. It's not really needed anyway. There will be strips of brick showing on the lateral sides of the building, sort of to mimic. There is a mural currently on the other side of the building that Kimberly Kay did a number of years ago. And you can see basically that the entire brick wall is not covered in mural. It's just, there's like an outline of brick, and it sort of works with the organic nature of the shapes of the painting. And I believe that the artist plans to do a similar style on the back, so that it kind of has a some continuity there.
Right. Lindsay.
If I may jump in from the O positive side. This is the site of one of our first murals. And so when they approached us to do another piece this year, that felt significant. I'm the new art director of O positive. All of our murals now, which was certainly not the case when we first started about 12 years ago at this point, are completed in golden brand mural paint. It is an architectural grade 100% acrylic. It is light fast, and they use artist pigment, so it's all high quality. We do a Benjamin Moore high hiding 100% acrylic primer on the building, so that there's not staining on whatever the original facade is. That brick, because it's parking lot facing, is not finished face brick. So we want to be conscious of the porous nature of it. It's mildew resistant. There is some erosion on that rear facade, again, because of that unfinished face of brick. So this will kind of act to also hold it.
And is there any need for repointing or repairs prior, or
the places where there are pointing issues are in those side panels, because that's where the water or ice forms. So that's part of our reason to leave that brick open, so that as it needs to be repaired, there's not kind of a push and pull between the image being in disrepair or the building being in disrepair. It allows the building owners to address any of those concerns that are emerging as they need to. And again, because we want to be able to kind of point to that original brick in the design as well. I will also say that the artist is conscious of the palette of the stockade. And so you'll find that the image that was shown is kind of a fine art version of the image that would be on the building. So within the figures, the colors will allude to the color of the brick for harmonious reasons. And then the palette that the artist is using is a pastel palette to refer to the facades that you see in the stockade. So everything will remain fairly, not neutral, but not highly pigmented, not highly vibrant, because that's not kind of the nature of the surrounds. So they will be working with a base color that is kind of a pastel lavender. And then you'll see that there are pale yellows, pale pinks that show up in the floral motif that both allude to the facades in the stockade, but also to the Kimberly K mural around the side of the building, so that it feels as though it belongs in that space.
Okay, and last thing, no sandblasting required.
Please don't. Please don't.
Yes, agreed. Absolutely agreed. Years back, that was a bigger question. You folks have come a long way in really paying attention to the facades and just maintaining structure. So I want to note that, and thank you for the steps that O Positive has taken. It's I was here for the first one, and we were all surprised and thought, oh my gosh, what are we supposed to do with this? And there were a couple of battles over what materials are appropriate and what facades are appropriate, but you guys have really found a nice way to work that.
As we've grown, as you grow up, you have to all the parts have to mature, but we're insured by both Ben Moore, but also Golden, who uses Ben Moore as a base, and they actually make Ben Moore paint on the Hush. That there are kind of gel-based products available for removal if and when that was necessary, that would not harm the surface of the brick or stain the surface of the brick.
That becomes an issue for the artist and for the property owner in general.
So our agreement generally with a building owner is that as long as the building is in their possession during this time, we have an agreement with them that they keep the artwork for a minimum of 3 years, at which point they freely can remove it or whatever, but we also ensure upkeep of the mural. So if there is, for instance, a repair that needs to happen, we will then return with the artist and oversee a repair of the image so that there's not an image in disrepair that's sitting on a facade.
That's great. All right, good to know. Any other questions for either the owner or for O Positive? Yes, Hayes.
Well, actually a question for Sue. This is sort of expanding mural exposure to the rear facade of this building from the side. Does the city have a policy or an ordinance about that now in terms of allowing expansion to new facades?
There is a policy that the Arts Commission has put together. I don't believe it has been codified yet, but they are working on it. So this would be compatible with that.
So it would allow, some new facade.
Yes.
Any other questions for, Lindsay, you have a question?
If I can add, part of, again, being kind of new in this role, part of what pointed me to this commission is that we met with Addie Farr and Mayor Noble and presented them with our artists with the buildings we were proposing. And this building, they were like, talk to these folks. That's the piece that we see that, the additional step for you to take in order for the city to feel secure with you moving forward. So.
All right, thank you. Any other questions from commission members? Comments? All right, yes, Robert.
Yeah. You know what? I love the artist looks great, and I love your side mural. It's really wonderful. I'm just, do we open something when we, this is 2 murals on one building, or
That already exists.
It
directly across the street, actually, on the old Standard Furniture building. We have Artemis rising from the quarry, and then the hooded figure around the corner.
Okay, and that's going to be addressed by the Arts Commission? I mean, how many in the heritage?
I think it's based on the facade, 1 per facade. So,
it's like tattoos. How many is enough? How many is, No, I'm kidding. It's really beautiful. It's beautiful artwork.
Depth of aesthetics. Yes. Lindsay, you wanted to respond?
Sure. I was in conversation with Addie before she left her position about this kind of forward movement with the Arts Commission. And part of the concern is also what the sidewalk/street view is. And so, we at this point are not really looking in historic districts, looking at doing like primary facades that are street facing, because we see that as kind of an emerging concern through the Arts Commission. So that's kind of part of our understanding, is that I wouldn't, even though it's not a historic building, I wouldn't be painting the gable on the front face of Birch, for instance. That alley and back facades have a different stature in the neighborhood than the front facing, street facing facade. So that as folks were walking down the street, that primary kind of encounter is with the nature of the architecture, and that art is kind of a supplementary encounter, if that makes sense.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Yes. I'm sorry, Ani, I'm guessing?
Yeah,
You-
Ani. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's relevant, but the previous building owners were the ones who requested and donated that facade. So in the lifespan of the building, it was not us who decided to donate that side at that point in time, although we do love that piece.
And so with it, you have inherited a certain responsibility.
I suppose so, yes.
And Kimberly's been around to like patch that up,
Yeah.
Fix that other mural, it's been upkept.
That's important over time and is one of the concerns we've been working with O Positive and are grateful for their input.
Yeah.
Because we only borrow these buildings. They far outlast us. All right. I will entertain a motion to declare this decision a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Thank you, Hayes. Do I have a second? Thank you, Kevin. All right. I will call the roll. Hayes?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
Kevin? You need to unmute, Kevin.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, aye.
Thank you. Robert?
Aye.
I also vote aye. And I move that this commission find as fact that the proposed mural for 7375 Crown Street in the Stockade Historic District by applicant Annie Kaiser and owner Crown Street Properties LLC, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the structure in the district for the following reasons. That the proposal will involve installation of an outdoor mural on the rear westerly facade of the building along the public parking lot as part of the citywide O Positive Festival for 2021. That the intended design of this new mural would leave some of the brick on the rear facade visible while preserving the facade through water-based, not oil-based acrylic priming and painting of the image. The primer and paint will seal the surface from further erosion and can be removed if and when it is ever necessary. O Positive commits to upkeep of murals while they exist, and building owners commit to a minimum of 3 years of keeping the mural up unless the building is sold to a new owner. That this work will cause a material change to the external appearance of the property, that said mural will not detract from the character of the historic district or the building, that any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to the work being carried out, that this commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division and any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on the 16th day of December 2021, our commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I have a second? Thank you, Hayes. All right, I will call the roll. Hayes?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Thank you, Ani, and thank you, Lindsay, for your words this evening. And Lindsay, I imagine we'll be seeing more of you on occasion. All right. Any other new business to be dealt with?
The only thing would be if you wanted to go back to 12 Stuyvesant Street. I know that the applicant is not here. I believe the application is pretty straightforward. There was one minor change of paint application that was discussed at the meeting at the beginning of the month when the Heritage Commission reviewed it. So, I mean, I know there is a crossover of a couple members and some of the HLPC members were present when we reviewed that. So I don't know if you want to take a look at that and consider it without the applicant here. I think you could, unless you have any specific questions.
And I'll be honest, my review of the application didn't call anything to mind.
The only
procedurally, are we dealing with the time? Is that an issue?
No, I don't believe that time is an issue. It would just be a matter that they were present at the first meeting. So I think it's more of a courtesy at this point. But
Right.
I will just explain the one change. If you look at the starburst on the top, if the members that were present last month recall, the starburst colors were going to be reversed. So the lighter color will be the starburst and the darker color will become the background. That was the change that she requested last month with Heritage.
All right.
I think we should go ahead and consider it and take a vote.
All right. All right. And I would then, first, entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Thank you, Hayes. Do I have a second?
Andrea Pugh, second.
Thank you, Andrea. I'll call the roll. Hayes?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. Does anyone have a question for staff on this? Since we don't have an applicant? All right, then I move that we find as fact that the proposed paint design in the Chestnut Street Historic District by applicant owner Susan Alexander and Hummingbird One LLC, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the district for the following reasons. The structure is a Queen Anne style home with multiple gabled roof and an octagonal pavilion constructed in the 1890s. The proposal will involve painting the exterior in Benjamin Moore historic colors, with the body of the house being Hollingsworth green, fish scale shingles being Salisbury green, the gable behind the sunburst detail in Townsend Harbor red, and the sunburst designed at the peak in a Chippendale rose tone. The ceiling of the front porch in Chippendale rose tone as well, front door in Townsend Harbor brown, and trim in Somerville red. The wide areas of the house which include windows, porch railings, columns, and balusters, will remain white. That this work will cause a material change to the external appearance of the property, that the exterior paint will not detract from the character of the historic district, that any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to work being carried out, that this commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that on this 16th day of September 2021, the commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described herein and in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kevin. All right, I'll call the roll. Hayes?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. I think that's everything.
That is. Thank you.
Thank you all for bearing with my getting called to court last month. My apologies. Not
I
much.
want to thank everybody for just making the extra evening available. I mean, I think that says a lot about the commission. So I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Our
And
pleasure.
now I get to go break a fast. Yes. Hayes.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Okay, you second.
I'll call the roll. Hayes.
Aye.
Andrea.
Aye.
Kevin.
Aye.
Robert.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. All have a good night.
Okay, good night.